we just said it's almost as if you haven't seen each other in some time. Have a seat, everyone. The clouds have parted, the rain has stopped just because of this event for today, so I just want everybody to recognize, and yes. Well, welcome, good afternoon to all of our loved ones here, to my colleagues behind, and everyone that is celebrating today's event. My name is Tara Cunningham, and I'm the Senior Associate Dean for Student Affairs here at the Icahn School of Medicine, and it is my delight and pleasure to welcome you all to the 26th Annual White Coat Ceremony for our medical school. Now, having the distinct pleasure of seeing these students in action for their first 2 weeks of medical school, everyone passed that course, I've really come to learn some pretty unique things that I wanted to share with you all today. Students should be a little nervous at this. Dr. Soriano and I lead the first course, and we observed their impressive prowess in bowling. Some voices that can surely land a record contract, at the very least win a karaoke contest. Architects of the absolute most impressive and sound towers of spaghetti, and hands that can nurture the earth as they planted trees in the Bronx or have mastered the game of ping pong. This is important because should medicine not work out, you're okay. You're going to do okay in life. But as we have a little giggle at their expense and celebrate their talents, let's also, though, transition to something that is more serious. Today's not just a celebration of their receiving of the white coat for these very promising young individuals. It's a recognition of everyone that's seated in this audience. You are the ones responsible to get them here. Sleepless nights, phone calls, likely tears of joy, tears of disappointment, and the perseverance. You are the ones that we thank the most in order and to really bring these amazing talents to us. To the parents, siblings, and friends that are able to join us today, and those that are perhaps watching in a virtual environment, thank you for entrusting us to mold your beautiful loved ones into the physician that we all want at our bedside in the very near future. Today marks the transition and induction into the hallowed tradition of medicine. And the continuance of this tradition stands at the intersection of art, science, and medicine. The White Coat Ceremony was conceived by the Arnold P. Gold Humanism Foundation in 1993 to highlight the importance of humanistic practice in medicine. It serves as a reminder of the journey and the goal, which is to provide care that is both scientifically sound and deeply compassionate. As these students don the white coat today in our presence, they're not receiving just another article of clothing. They are truly embracing the profound commitment to humanity. So to this class, as you step forward today, embrace the journey of all of its challenges and achievements. Wear this white coat with pride, with humility, with civility, and along always, always with an unwavering commitment to the betterment of humanity and to self. Welcome, everyone, to the School of Medicine, and enjoy for what we have in store for you for today. It is my pleasure to introduce to you, dear colleague, Dr. Valerie Parkas, our Senior Associate Dean for Admissions and Recruitment. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Tara. Welcome first-year students, loved ones, family, friends, as well as school leadership, faculty, and staff. This is a celebratory day for us all. Much thanks to all the people in student affairs and admissions. As I thought about the brief remarks I was asked to give, I started to reflect on advice for this huge transition. From layperson to medical student to doctor and scientist, I kept coming back to the following advice. Don't forget what you know as a person as you become a doctor. It's not original advice, but it's worth reflecting upon because it's so true and so all-encompassing. It's most clear as it relates to patient-centered care and communication and treating people as people, not as a diagnosis. That feels core, central, and worth recommitting to every single day. It is the tenet of the work that we do. And that advice, not forgetting what you know as a person as you become a doctor, also reflects on what we know about the world right now. As you cannot lose that grounding as you build your patient-centered skills and scientific muscles, you must continue to learn and understand the things we all know as people in order to take care of people and communities. From my vantage point, with those other people in admissions, I believe that you, the entering class of 2023, know much more as people than most of us who have entered medical school. You committed to medical school, worked in labs, hours at the bench, shadowed scribe, did EMS, hospice work, teaching and advocating and learning over the last couple of years. Take a moment to reflect on the circumstances under which you decided, committed, applied, matriculated to medical school. You committed to this healing profession and discovery profession during a pandemic. You therefore know the impact of cutting-edge science, virology, vaccine development. You know distrust in science. You know disparities in medical outcomes. You've learned about end-of-life care, infection prevention. You've learned about loneliness and isolation, medical communication. You've been exposed to hate rhetoric in the last couple of years. In addition, you know as a person the health impacts of many other global public health crises: climate chaos, gun violence, mental health crises in children and adolescents, the impact of social media, structural bias, addiction. These issues and more are impacting our patients' lives, and we know them as people and must continue to learn and understand during this transition from layperson to medical student to doctor and scientist. So the sage advice: don't forget what you know as a person as you become a doctor. It is simple, yet worth committing to on this journey. We're in the midst of a great scientific advancements. New scientific discoveries from cancer to obesity to genomics to AI are paramount, and the science is critical, evolving, and you will be a part of this during this transition, making new discoveries yourself and leveraging new discoveries. In addition to these cutting-edge discoveries, which will change everything, please also don't forget what you know as a person as you become a doctor. Thank you. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce Jim Tisch, co-chair of the Board of Trustees, Mount Sinai Health System.
Thank you. Class of 27, family members, parents, and faculty. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the annual White Coat ceremony of the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. Welcome also, class of 27, to the Mount Sinai family. Yes, family, because at Icahn Mount Sinai, we are all part of an extended family with a common interest: to see you become great physicians. We want you to work collaboratively, to care for each other as you study and learn together over the next 4 years. I'm delighted that such an outstanding class of students, as accomplished as any in the nation, is pursuing medicine here at Icahn Mount Sinai. To be honest, this is not an entirely altruistic sentiment. From the "it's all about me" department, I really want you to study hard and become highly skilled doctors, because someday there's a good chance that one of you sitting here will be treating me. Selfishness aside, the fact is that every one of your patients will feel as I do. They will be depending upon you to be a diligent, conscientious physician who can deliver healing and restore their health. What greater responsibility is there? And what could be more important? Providing compassionate care, healing the ill, and pursuing scientific discoveries that lead to new cures. These are among the most noble pursuits. You've embarked on an extremely rigorous academic journey, but given the good that you can do, it will be well worth it. As you study here, you will see that Icon Mount Sinai is brimming with innovation. We are one of the most dynamic, creative, and forward-looking institutions in all of academic medicine. Mount Sinai has made a huge commitment to artificial intelligence because we recognized that AI would help us bring healthcare to the next level. In fact, our Department of Artificial Intelligence and Human Health is the first of its kind within a U.S. medical school. You're going to be immersed in an environment of rich resources that will stimulate you as never before. There will be opportunities to learn from and even work with brilliant professors in the life sciences, as well as computer science, mathematics, and engineering. We believe interdisciplinary collaboration is the key to extending the boundaries of what modern medicine can and must achieve. This is a major reason that our researchers generate breakthrough discoveries in basic translational science. And those discoveries lead to better care for patients with cancer, cardiovascular disease, and so many other illnesses. Mount Sinai has a long tradition of caring for the underserved. Our history goes back to 1855, when our original hospital, the Jews Hospital, opened on West 28th Street. Its mission was to care for Jews and other minorities who could not receive treatment elsewhere. Today, we proudly continue that tradition of caring for the underserved. Volunteering in our surrounding communities is one way to do that. The student-run East Harlem Health Outreach Partnership offers free care for hundreds of East Harlem residents. This is the first and largest student-run program of its kind in the country. The program is just one of the many ways you can bring positive change to the world. Others may involve providing health care for the needy, achieving breakthroughs in the laboratory, or devising new ways to deliver quality care more efficiently. Or you may save someone's life in the emergency room. With the education you'll acquire at Mount Sinai, the possibilities are endless. The physician's white coat you will soon receive is a symbol of responsibility to serve patients to the best of your ability, with compassion and high ethical standards. This is a commitment to remember every day that you wear your white coat. Congratulations on reaching this day. I wish you the best of luck in your studies. Thank you. And now it's my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Dennis Charney, the Ann and Joel Ehrenkrantz Dean of the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. Dennis?
Yeah, thank you, Jim. And I add my welcome to the class of 2027, to family and friends, faculty, members of the boards of trustees, to the annual white coat ceremony of the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. As I stand before you, I have the ability to use smart technology, devices to monitor my health, second by second, a smartwatch tracking my heart rate, a wireless cuff measuring my blood pressure, and a smartphone that is accessing data from multiple sources and devices. 50 years ago, I was in your shoes as a first-year medical student. I know I don't look like that. I was in the class of 1977. Time flies. Then we could only dream of such real-time health monitoring. There were no personalized high-tech devices. Believe it or not, there were no iPhones, there were no iPads, there were no iPods. There were no Apple computers. In fact, the company Apple Computer in 1973 didn't even exist. It was the dawn of personal technology back then. Xerox introduced the first desktop computer called the Alto in 1973, but there would be another decade before personal computers could be found in most offices. In 1973, Motorola that demonstrated a clunky prototype of the first cell phone that weighed 2.5 pounds. So not for another 2 decades would there be mobile phones that became ubiquitous. Back then, in 1973, medicine lacked so many of the tools that we rely on today. There was no MRI. There was no PET scanning. There was no DNA sequencing, no genomic analysis, no drugs for high cholesterol, no new treatments for major depression, no monoclonal antibody treatments for cancer and other diseases. So you may wonder, how did we heal patients back then? But we did, but not with today's modern technology that's going to be available to you as doctors. So the world was a different place in 1973. And in fact, that's my class. Yeah, there I am in the second row, looking a little different. So that's me as a first-year student 50 years ago at the Pennsylvania State College of Medicine. Now, of those, we had 82 students, as you can see in that photograph, and only 12 were women, and only 4 were people of color. There's another way that the world has changed. So let's go to the next picture. That's you. So the world has clearly changed for the better. Your class is more than 50% women and 30% people of color. And let me say for the record, in spite of the recent Supreme Court decision on college admissions, future classes at Icahn Mount Sinai will continue to be highly diverse. Icahn Mount Sinai will not stand down from our strong commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we will do this legally under the law. So over the past 50 years, you can see where I'm starting from, there has been tremendous advances in medicine. Many of these innovations have happened right here at Mount Sinai. In cardiology, in oncology, in gastroenterology, virology, psychiatry, and many other fields. Mount Sinai has generated advances in chemotherapy and immunotherapy to fight cancer. We have invented new treatments for Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and serious depression. We have developed new imaging technologies to identify early signs of heart disease. And we have introduced new surgical techniques, including the first minimally invasive abdominal aortic aneurysm repair, the first laser robotic surgery for head and neck cancer, and most recently, unbelievably, the first human tracheal transplant. And our scientists have developed new vaccines, introducing a universal flu vaccine, and most recently, now under testing, an intranasal COVID vaccine. We discovered the first drug combination that can regenerate pancreatic beta cells, which make insulin. There have been so many great research and clinical achievements at Mount Sinai, I could spend the entire white coat ceremony describing them. But I just want to give you an example of the school that you are entering and the physicians and scientists that are going to teach you. Just imagine how much medicine will change during the next 50 years when you are scientists and physicians. Here's one prediction. Quote, gene therapies, nanomedicine, and other advanced treatments will become more commonplace, offering cures or long-term management for diseases that are currently challenged to treat effectively. Medical treatments will be tailored to the individual's specific genetic makeup, lifestyle, and environmental factors. And personalized medicine will allow for more targeted and effective treatments with fewer side effects. Pretty good prediction, right? But I didn't make it. That prediction comes from ChatGPT. We're going to be dealing with that. But guess what? That is precisely what the Mount Sinai Million Discoveries Program is designed to generate. Our plan is to complete the genetic sequencing of 1 million Mount Sinai patients and analyze this vast, diverse treasure trove of genetic information, which will usher in an era of completely personalized medicine, where treatment is based on the patient's genetic makeup, and that will become the norm. I did ask a few of Mount Sinai leaders, so this is not from ChatGPT, what will happen over the next 50 years. Here's what they told me. That artificial intelligence, which we're making a major commitment to, will enable early detection of multiple diseases, including cancer. Cell-targeted immunotherapy will become so effective that we will be able to eradicate large tumors that today are treatment resistant. Cancer will become a chronic, manageable disease as AIDS is today. Genomic sequencing, body scans, tissue biopsies will yield a forecast of what diseases a patient will get and when, allowing physicians, you, to modify that trajectory. And advances in genetics will allow gene editing the genome, to treat numerous conditions, thereby producing lifetime cures of genetic diseases. Sadly, I lost a grandchild, Jojo, 7 years ago, almost to the day, due to a single genetic mutation. Gene editing would have cured and saved her life. Today, these visions are dreams, but they are not unrealistic. Great researchers and clinicians, some of whom will be your teachers, are working to transform these dreams into reality. And during your careers, I am confident you will have the opportunity to make dreams come true. Einstein said, quote, "The person with big dreams is more powerful than one with all the facts. So dream big and aim high." At the same time, no matter how much medicine advances, no matter how much technology expands our capabilities, as physicians, you will always need to demonstrate humanity. Even when facing intense pressure, both personal and professional, you will need to be a compassionate and caring physician. You must build a bond with your patients, because that bond itself can be healing. The white coat you are about to receive represents goodness. It is a coat of honor, a symbol of healing and compassion. Wearing it is a great privilege. The white coat represents a commitment to health equity and justice for all. This responsibility is not yours alone. My commitment to you is that the faculty of Icahn Mount Sinai will teach, will support, and will encourage you in your pursuit of greatness, both in science and medicine. And it is our hope that one day, perhaps in 10, 20, 30, 40, and even 50 years from now, when medicine's power to heal has grown exponentially, you will look back and say, quote, I played a pivotal role in improving the health and well-being of humanity. Thank you very much. It is now my pleasure to introduce David Muller, Dean for Medical Education and Chairman of the Department of Medical Education. David.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have the honor of introducing the 2023 Hans Popper MD PhD keynote speaker, Dr. Carol Horowitz. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank Deborah and Frank Popper for joining us in the audience today and for their ongoing support. Thank you. Carol Horowitz, MD, MPH, is Professor of Population Health Science and Policy, Professor of Medicine, and a practicing general internist at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. She is the founding director of Mount Sinai's Institute for Health Equity Research and Sinai's founding dean for Gender Equity in Science and Medicine. Dr. Horowitz is a pioneer in the field of community-engaged research to achieve health equity, ensuring that people from diverse communities have a hand in developing and designing studies and are first to benefit from advances in science and medicine. Her special interests are chronic disease prevention and how clinical care, genetics, neighborhood factors, and structural racism intersect to impact health. Her durable partnerships over 3 decades have had enormous impact, including changing food policies in New York City and building effective, peer-led health promotion programs now used around the globe. Dr. Horowitz earned her MD at Cornell University, completed a primary care residency at Albert Einstein, and earned an MPH from the University of Washington as a Robert Wood Johnson Clinical Scholar. She has won numerous awards, the most important of which, I think, are the undying gratitude of her trainees and her mentees. Please help me welcome Dr. Carol Horowitz.
Wow. Look at this audience. Look at you all. Distinguished and very proud guests, fabulous faculty and staff, and most importantly, the extraordinary first-year medical students here. I am profoundly honored and grateful to be here with you all today. You all definitely chose the right school. Here you have all these visionary leaders. They're all innovators and fierce champions of education and equity, deeply attuned to the needs and well-being of students, unafraid to take on the world to ensure that you get all the training you deserve and that your patients get all the care they deserve. I am alive because of Icahn Mount Sinai. My grandparents came to the US from Mezhbysh, Ukraine in the 1920s. To escape poverty, persecution, and pogroms, which are ethnic massacres of Jewish people. They settled on the Lower East Side. My grandfather operated a pushcart. Grandma worked in a sweatshop. In 1928, my father, their 2-year-old son, was hospitalized with empyema, an infection around his left lung. Penicillin had just been discovered and wasn't yet available. The doctors told my grandparents all they could do was transfer him to a hospital for terminally ill people. But my grandparents, both barely 5 feet tall, had another idea. They stood outside his hospital room armed with 2 large sticks, blocking the entrance to his room. Meanwhile, my father's 10-year-old sister raced around the neighborhood, borrowing enough money to transport him to the only hospital they knew would absolutely care for a poor Jewish kid, Mount Sinai. At Mount Sinai, Howard Lilienthal, who had recently performed the very first pulmonary lobectomy for inflammatory disease, and Charles Ellsberg, who had just pioneered a successful method of anesthesia, operated on him. Welcome all to the place that saved his life. A place that continues to value the lives of all people, regardless of who they are or where they come from. a place that saved lives by erecting a hospital in Central Park during COVID. I don't know if any of you saw it. It was absolutely amazing. A place that wins award for being the most diverse and equitable, the most innovative, and for providing the very best clinical care. And welcome to our physician family. You are medicine's future leaders, healers, innovators, and change agents. One of the beauties of our profession lies in its endless possibilities. Our roles and our focus change over time. So I can't say much about what your careers will look like. And with the speed medicine and science are evolving, even those of you who feel you have a very clear path may find your careers quite different than what you envision them right now. Instead, I would like to share with you all what others have generously taught me about how to be a good doctor. I don't need to tell you all about the massive challenges we're facing as doctors and as a society. But if Shirley and James, a former Black Panther and community research partner, were here, she'd tell you all, you can't wring your hands and roll up your sleeves at the same time. In the wake of George Floyd's murder, we rolled up our sleeves. Dean Charney and our CEO commissioned a task force on racism to take an unflinching look at our own organization, to move beyond documenting the magnitude of inequities and implement initiatives to transform our operations, education, and care. We are succeeding, just as you all will, by identifying and mobilizing collective strengths and assets. Jack Geiger, a mentor and founder of 2 Nobel Prize-winning physician organizations, taught me about positive disruption. In the 60s, as a doctor in rural Mississippi, he was trying to care for his patients who were sick because they couldn't afford to eat. What would you do? Jack billed the local government pharmacy for their food bills. When a government official noticed and challenged him, you know what he said? Last time I looked at my textbook, the specific therapy for malnutrition was food. That was the genesis of the food stamps movement and of food stamps in our country. His work inspires me, and I hope it inspires you all to be creative, fearless, and be strategic to best serve our patients. Cesar Vasquez, a local educator who led our East Harlem Partnership for Diabetes Prevention, emphasized collaboration and having each other's backs. Cesar would have you consider the following. You all got here in part because you outshined others, right? It's competitive getting into med school. But medicine, now you're here, it's a team sport. Are you more creative alone or when you bounce ideas off people? Who has insights and experiences that complement yours? As researchers, some of our best ideas come from people living in the communities which are most disproportionately and unjustly impacted by illness. The partnership Cesar led conceptualized and co-developed the program Dean Muller was talking about, a peer-led program that effectively and inexpensively prevents diabetes, used around the world now. Who are you going to solicit ideas from? Who are you going to work with to implement them? As clinicians, when you walk onto the labor and delivery unit, realize that the nurses there know more than most of us ever will about childbirth. They and nurses everywhere are our teachers, not just our assistants. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor visited with your predecessors here in 2015. She led by example. Before she met with the med students, she insisted on meeting with and thanking all the staff who helped set up and manage her visit. She knows what and who it takes to make great things happen. And as you're going to be highly regarded and compensated professionals, you know what Cesar would say to you all? Make sure my community has access to the power that your white coats afford. Alberta Slappy, former president of the Tenants Association of the low-income housing complex right across the street from where you all will take your classes, would often remind me, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. For example, our colleague Sari Reisner, a leader in transgender health, after reading articles how gender dysphoria is bad for health, chose to conduct research on how gender euphoria is good for health. At Mount Sinai, we formed a task force to take a fresh look at algorithms and technologies we use in everyday clinical care to make sure they don't harbor biases that can harm patients. Pulse oximeters that measure oxygen at the tip of our fingers, you might have seen a lot of them around during COVID, they were not developed for or adequately tested on people with different levels of melanin in their skin. This led to people of color getting inadequate care. We are working with engineers to build new, more accurate machines that work for everyone. Ms. Slappy would ask you all to stay curious and open to new solutions. When I was a med student, my little grandma, with her 6th grade education, called me every single week to ask me what I was learning. This regularly reminded me of the privilege I have to study medicine. We hope you not only consume the knowledge we impart, but also produce new approaches and solutions us old-timers haven't even dreamed of. Finally, Wendy Levinson, a medical educator, taught me and would suggest that you mine for gold. Find common ground with each and every patient, even ones you don't particularly like, and ones who push all your buttons, and some will push all your buttons. Even one thing like a sports team you all both root for. Remember, your bad day as a doctor will pale in comparison to what most of your patients are going through. Human connection is a key to understanding what your patients want and need, and it infuses joy in even the most difficult situations. So building out what Wendy taught me, enjoy that gorgeous gold you all uncover. I have no doubt that you'll find meaning and triumphs of diagnoses and of treatments. You'll also find it in the simple act of being present for your patients. We asked doctors across the US to write about what reaffirms their commitment to practicing medicine. We were surprised that most stories take place in settings typically associated with failure, like death and progressive chronic illness. One oncologist wrote about seeing a patient who he'd been treating for cancer. I spoke to her. The end is coming soon. Do you have anything you need to say? She opened her eyes and said, "Honey, I love you." And I said, "I love you too." And she cried and I cried while I held her hand. This was one of the most meaningful moments in his career. When my father became ill in his 70s, he came back to Sinai for his care. I remember the first time his geriatrician, Sean Morrison, was listening to his lungs. He gently touched the large scar across my father's back and asked him where it came from. My father, who had Alzheimer's, didn't remember, but I did. When my father died, the first person I saw at the synagogue was my partner and mentor, Caesar. He'd never been to anything Jewish, and he did not come inside the building. He traveled all the way to my dad's funeral in the suburbs, so he'd be standing outside as I walked in, making sure that he knew, that I knew, that he always had my back. Entering class of 2023, we all, here and here, we all have your backs. Please remember how important it is to take good care of yourselves. Please take good care of each other. Continue to draw inspiration from all the diverse and incredible individuals who surround you. Look at things in new ways. Recognize and use your newfound power wisely. And find the joy in your work. We need you. The world needs you. And we are excited to witness the remarkable impact each and every one of you will make. Congratulations and welcome to this incredible journey. I hope you enjoy the ride. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Horowitz. I don't know about you, but I'm proud to be at Mount Sinai. So for the moment that everyone's waiting for, it is truly an honor to be part of this special ceremony. It is a Mount Sinai tradition to have students coded by their faculty advisor. Therefore, we will call students alphabetically by learning communities. You can refer to and follow the learning communities list in your program as I call the students on stage. It is now my pleasure to present the 10 physicians who will code our medical students in their respective learning communities. Up first, we have Dr. Theodore Bania, Assistant Professor in the Department of Emergency Medicine. Regrettably, Dr. Bania is unable to join us today. In his absence, Dr. David Muller will be coding his students. Noi Alon. Courtney Chan. Gabriel Dara. Helen Downs. Jamie Frost. Camilo Hernandez Hoya. Benjamin Hu. Sujay Jaipali. Kareem Mohammed. Elise Solazo. Emma White. Jessica Yang. And Alexander Yu. Next, we have Dr. Urena Clark, Associate Professor in the Department of Neurology. Bakola Ajanaku. Michael Bozil. Alexander Chung. Naomi Freilish. Johanna Habib. Manan Krishnamurthy. Emily Leventhal. Chinonso Wakama. Kennedy Ariana Salamat. And Young Jun Song. Next, we have Dr. Caroline Cromwell, Assistant Professor of Medicine in the Division of Hematology. Brendan Barrios. Jordan Bryan. Sophia Shertock. Allison Cho. James Hong. Rubashruti Khanna. Brandon Obi. Melissa Olivar Villanueva. Rebecca Rosenzweig. Rihanna Shaw. Shivan Sharma. And Matt Tonkinson. Next, we have Dr. Monica Dweck, Associate Professor in the Department of Ophthalmology. Julia Ji Yong An. Ritwan Bandyopadhyay. L. Billman. Reginald Maurice Brewster. Madeline Cheshire. Donessa Janae Colley. Fan club in the house. Varun Deviraj. Anisha Kasi. Austin Locke. Cameron Ormiston. Nicholas Rena. And Marianne Tissot. Next, we have Dr. Sharon Edwards, Associate Professor in the Department of Pediatrics. Priya Banot. Alexia Brown.
Ramon Brown.
Anais Marenko. I'd like to call back Ramon Brown. Okay, it's always a surprise. Emery Monig. Salwa Nejmi. Hajar Naveed. Joan Perez. Lev Sandler. Arvind Somi. Grace Travers. Haley Yetman. Louder, please. And Ryan Yu. Next, we have Dr. Allison Galt, Assistant Professor in the Department of Pediatrics. Yahya Gomel El-Kirsch. Helen Nakash Gordon. Rahul Guda. Julian Javier. Camila Pilar Johannek. Josh Kim. Lillian Mo. Rico Pesci. Meghna Rao. Lucy Shang. Curtis Tam. And Helena Zelika. Next, we have Dr. Meredith Wepner Grossman, Associate Professor in the Department of Pediatrics. Anna Argulian. Derek Rong Shen Chen. Isabel Scalar Chess. Ji-Won Wong. Ashwin Kulshrestha. Phoebe May. Americhi Okorum. Nicole Parkas. Justine Wonyin Potemkin. Mark Schneiderman. Onyedikachi Uche. and Campbell Vogt. Next, we have Dr. Alicia Hurtado, Associate Dean for Medical Student Wellness and Student Affairs, and Assistant Professor in the Department of Psychiatry. Ryan Afreen. Cole Brown. Olivia Hoover. Lily Huo. Sandra Jardines. Nathan G. Katie Lera. Aaron Joseph Levan. Boluwatito Oladende. Dave Patel. Nikhil Patel. Lauren Port. Meron Magra Teklu. Next, we have Dr. Craig Katz, Clinical Professor of Psychiatry, Medical Education, Global Health, and Health Systems Design. Omar Alani. Helena Bugakov. Mehek Didia. Theodore Isansi. Ivory Ujia Fu. Gavin Kress. Mark Kurapati. Mark Lemonick. Anna Elise McDermott Martins. Isabel Silo. Megan Tang. And Camila Vicioso. Last but not the least, we have Dr. Roberto Posada, Professor of Pediatrics, Medical Education, Global Health, and Health Systems Design. Danny Alkurdi. Roger Bautista. Alexia Brown. Tony Chung. I don't know who that person is. So. Nicholas Coney. Christina Hope Lefevre. Shrikar Miriala. Sananda Pai. Nikita Patlola. Akhil Rao. Johari Somerville. And Jennifer Yu. So congratulations, class of 2027. At this time, I ask the medical students to please stand up, turn around and face your loved ones so all present can applaud you in your new white coats. And students, let's applaud the parents, family members, and friends who have helped you achieve the goal we all celebrate today. Thank you. Please be seated. I now have the pleasure to present Dr. Michael Herscher, Assistant Professor in the Department of Medicine, who will administer the student oath. This will be followed by the faculty pledge, which will be read by Dr. Michael Lightman, Dean for Graduate Medical Education and Designated Institutional Official and Professor in the Department of Surgery.
All right, congratulations, class of 2027. We are now entering the 12th year of a budding Mount Sinai tradition, asking our first-year medical students to come together to draft and ratify their own student oath. Through this process, our students were given the opportunity to establish, commit to, and share the professional ideals that will govern their time at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai and beyond. During the Art and Science of Medicine course, groups of students each generated what they held to be their most important ideal as they embark on their medical education and career. Representatives from each of these groups then worked with Dr. Craig Katz to combine these ideals into the oath you are about to hear. So I now ask our first-year medical students to please stand. And turn around and face your loved ones. And join me as we recite the student oath. You can find the oath on the last page of your program. All right, let us begin. We, the entering class of 2023 at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, are humbled and grateful to embark on this journey. In acknowledgement of our privilege in entering the field of medicine and in appreciation for all those who are supporting us on our paths, we pledge to treat patients with diligence, respect, and empathy as we practice medicine with grace, promote the well-being of our patients through evidence-based medicine, empower the voices of our patients, especially those who cannot speak for themselves, demonstrate cultural awareness, provide empathetic, holistic, and individualized care, continually challenge our implicit biases and remain cognizant of our shared humanity, address deep-rooted injustices and inequities of medicine while respecting the agency and lived experiences of our patients, recognize the limitations of the field in order to push for discrete change, be honest when we don't know and embrace feedback from patients and colleagues, cultivate an authentic, collaborative, and trusting community among our peers, prioritize our own health and wellness in order to best serve our patients. Together, we will approach medicine with the desire to learn from our patients, absent of judgment, and evolve alongside the field of medicine and the world without losing the core values that brought us here. Let us hear a round of applause for the class of 2027. All right. Thank you. You may be seated.
Congratulations. Just as the medical student oath was written and ratified by the Icahn School of Medicine class of 2027, our faculty participated in a similar process by which they discussed and submitted what they considered their highest ideals as medical educators. These ideals were then incorporated into the Mount Sinai Medical Educator Oath, which we will recite today. I now ask all faculty members of the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai to stand and join me in the Medical Educator Oath. The mission of the Mount Sinai School of Medicine is to produce physicians and scientists who are prepared to enter society as informed advocates and activists who are able to advance clinical care and science to promote change. We, the faculty, seek to embody this mission and so pledge the following to you, our students, in our effort to help you become the best possible physicians and your best possible selves, to serve as models for caring, competent, and unbiased care of our patients, to engage you in the joy and privilege of practicing the art and science of medicine and the rewards of learning for life, to uphold the highest standards in scientific and medical research, to inspire you to respect the art and science of medicine, but also to question the status quo, to recognize that our opportunity to teach is also our opportunity to learn, to not just teach, but also nurture, to share both our craft and ourselves, to demonstrate that self-examination means as much as examinations, to be kind in evaluating you and ourselves, to never lose sight of our wellness and the wellness of all those around us, to have the courage to stand up for the oppressed and vulnerable and against prejudice and racism in all that we do, to be aware of our own biases and those around us and strive to eliminate them, to meet you where you are and get you where you want to be, and finally, to never forget, as physicians, scientists, and educators, what we know as human beings. Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you, Dr. Hirschers and Lightman, and for this class for evoking such emotion and coming to this oath with such dedication to yourselves and your patients. At this time, I would like to take a moment to recognize the Alumni Association for their continued efforts in supporting the White Coat Ceremony each and every year. Not only does the Alumni Association contribute to make the ceremony possible, but also they run a campaign for specific alumni and faculty and others to continue to sponsor our students' stethoscopes, otoscopes, and ophthalmoscopes. Please join me in thanking the Alumni Association. It is my pleasure now to introduce Dr. Alexis Colvin, Senior Associate Dean of Alumni Affairs, to say a few words regarding the Mount Sinai Alumni Association.
Good afternoon, and congratulations on not only starting medical school, but also joining a family of incredible alumni. It is a family bound by a shared commitment to healing, compassion, and the pursuit of knowledge. I hope you take advantage of all of the opportunities to learn from them. For instance, meet your future mentor through our Alumni Connect mentorship program, which pairs alums with current medical students. There are also Alumni Connect small group meetings in which you will get to meet with a diverse range of alums to discuss career paths and benefit from the wisdom of their experience. In closing, I just want to say how honored I am to be able to welcome you at the beginning of your Icahn School of Medicine journey, and to let you know that I will also be here at the end to welcome you into our alumni community. Congratulations and best of luck.
So this is the part we call closing remarks. I do want to say a big thank you to the Department of Medical Education staff, the Student Affairs Office for their assistance today, Samantha Amazan, and all of the folks who've done all of the work to make this just a beautiful event and to allow us to enjoy the reception afterwards, as well as the Mount Sinai Alumni Association for their ongoing support. I also want to say to the students, like this, we cannot say often enough or loudly enough how proud we are of you, of everything you've done, everything you're going to achieve, and we are here for you to meet and exceed all of your aspirations, as all of you have heard from folks behind me today. You need to hear that over and over again because it's true, you deserve it, and you belong here. The 26th Annual Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai White Coat ceremony has now concluded. Students, please remain seated for the traditional class photo. Guests, we invite you to exit at this time. Enjoy the reception in the lobby and lounge outside the hall. We will meet you there. Thank you for being part of today's celebration, and congratulations to all.